Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for being with us here today for our primary ECT event. Just a couple of housekeeping bits just before we kick off. If you could please make sure if you're not presenting, if you could have your microphones on mute, just to limit disruptions. We do have a dedicated Q&A at the end of this session. So if you've got any questions, if you could just keep them to yourselves until then, and you can also use the chat function, and we'll address all questions then. Just so you're aware, also we are recording this session, so if you don't wish your face to be included, I would recommend you turn your camera off. We've got some really exciting speakers on the call today who are going to give some really insightful talks, so we really hope you enjoy it. Just a quick event overview and what we can expect today. We're going to have a welcome and some introductions from our speakers. We're also going to have an overview of the Harris Federation, the academies in our federation, the structure and the ethos, which I think you'll realise at the end of this session is something that we really do hold true to everything we do here at Harris Federation. We're also going to provide some information on the ECT programme and the structure and the support that's available that we provide to ECTs, as well as the career progression that we have available. We're also going to talk through what you can expect on a standard day-to-day as an ECT and the benefits of doing your ECT years here at Harris Federation. We've also got a current ECT on the call who's going to sort of bring that to life a little bit more and give you an insight into what their experience has been like and how it's prepared them for their future teaching career. So just some introductions before we kick off. So hi, my name's Erica Ritchie. You might recognise my name. I'm the one that sends you all the emails about the various roles that we've got available. I'm the Talent Acquisition Coordinator for teaching at Harris Federation, and my role and my passion is to get really great quality teachers through the doors into our academies and to our pupils. We've also got Jordan Hollis here on the call. Jordan is the head of academy at Harris Primary Academy Shortlands. Jordan joined Harris in 2014 as a class teacher and has now risen through the ranks to become a head of academy. So yeah, really good example of how you can progress to a leadership position here at Harris. We've also got Gavin Williams here. He is the head of the Harris Leadership College. Harris Leadership College is our professional development centre where we provide high quality programmes to academies across London. He's going to talk about that a little bit more in depth and also how the Harris Leadership College can support you as an ECT. We've also got Samuel Billington here today. Samuel is an ECT teaching year 2 at Harris Primary Academy Shortlands. Samuel joined Harris as a teaching assistant back in 2020, and he's going to bring to life the sort of day-to-day his experience as an ECT and what it can look like and the support that he's been provided with, as well as his highlights. And later on today, we'll have Hannah Trill here. Hannah is the Early Career Framework Manager for primaries at Harris Teaching School Hubs. She's going to talk a little bit more about the framework and the programme and how the theory sort of fits in with your day-to-day teaching, the structure of that, and what other benefits can also be offered as part of the programme. So I'm going to move on now to Jordan, who's going to talk through a little bit more about Harris and his journey.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Just a little bit about the Harris Federation before I kind of go into a little bit about my journey and what it's like to be a Harris teacher. The founder and chairman and sponsor of Harris Federation, Lord Harris Peckham, opened our first school in 1990. There are now 52 Harris primary and secondary academies in London and Essex, as well as a teaching school alliance that trains thousands of teachers every year. And we come together to have an inset day in October at the Excel Centre, and that's where you realise the magnitude of the federation and the size of the federation when we have that day, and it is an amazing day. And you can see some of the videos of past conferences on the website as well. We have over the past 30 years implemented ideas and initiatives that have transformed the opportunities of pupils from working class and disadvantaged backgrounds. And I also think that applies to teachers as well. So they've done a lot of work to help support teachers in their journey. It's not an easy role being a class teacher in any primary school or secondary school, but Harris do make that easier, and I'll touch on that a little bit more shortly. Harris Academies are widely recognised as a force of social mobility. We are immensely proud of the role that our alumni are now beginning to play in the world and of what we believe our current generation of pupils will go on to achieve. So we have a lot of Harris Academies across different locations. So we have, I believe, I'm going to do the COVID times of next slide, please. Sorry to steal your joke there, Gavin. Thank you. 22 primaries, 31 secondaries, and 4 sixth forms. So that does showcase the amount of support and the amount of colleagues that you can call upon who are in a similar situation. So, as Erica mentioned, I am now in my 9th year with the Federation. I started as a class teacher, 3 years. I'd been teaching for 3 years and joined the Federation as a class teacher, and have progressed through the Federation through, I think, 4 academies to be head of academy at Harris Shortlands. This is now my 2nd year here, and I think Harris Federation have kind of helped shape and mould my career, and there's been many leaders and teachers that have helped me improve. I think I came to the Federation thinking I was an all singing, all dancing teacher, and soon realised that that there were a lot better teachers than I was, and I was able to learn from them and progress to the leadership team. So in terms of the structures, there are obviously lots of progression points within the Federation, and one of the things that's speaking from a primary perspective is the way primaries are set out. You obviously can be a class teacher, and should you wish to progress and take on more responsibility, you can be a middle leader and take on subject leadership as you progress through your career. You can then move on to the senior leadership team or become a Senko, depending on what your speciality is. And in the leadership structure, you have an assistant principal, then a vice principal, and then a head of academy. And you can also have a principal, which might be less reliant on an assistant director. So an assistant director sits above a principal or head of academy. So we have 4 of those in the primary sector, and they have clusters. So we have red cluster, blue cluster, green cluster, and yellow cluster, and they look after a group of academies within that cluster. Above the assistant directors sits our primary director, Sabina Hassan, and her mirrored person in the secondaries is also, I forget her name now, I'm sure Erica will remind me. And then above her is Sir Dan, our CEO, and Lord Harris, the chair and founder. One of the benefits to being a Harris employee is not only the schemes and health benefits, it's also the planning side of things as well. So within the primary sector, there's a Federation curriculum. So all the planning is there. The only thing that really falls to teachers in terms of planning is English planning, and a lot of that will already be done in individual academies as well. But all the foundation planning is there. You just have to tailor it for your class, which I know I'm sure Sam will touch on later when he talks to you, is a massive help. We've also introduced pre-printed books. So a lot of the resources that you would normally have to stick in and spend time preparing and get in the books, they're already in there as well. And if you want to see those, you're more than welcome to come and tour my academy, Shortlands in Bromley, or any of the other schools I know will welcome you, so that you can see that in action and speak to teachers as well. To touch more on the additional benefits that you get. So there's multiple schemes that we have in Harris. So there is support with travel cards, so season ticket loans, ICT loans, there's an electric car scheme, loyalty bonus. So once you've been with the Federation a certain amount of time, at Christmas there's a loyalty bonus. We also have healthcare, which can pay for optical or private doctor appointments as well, which is an amazing benefit to have. And also the Harris allowance, which is a top up on the normal salary that you might receive, depending on whether you're on inner, outer London. So being with Harris has many benefits, and I can obviously speak from my experience in terms of the progression and the support that I've had through my career and continue to get through headship. Especially when there's tough times in a year, or things like Ofsted or SAT, the support and the ability to be able to talk to someone. Same applies for ECTs. You have a big network of ECTs that you can talk to, not only just in your academy, but in other academies as well, especially when you're working in an academy that's maybe one form entry. You have someone that you can talk to in a different academy within your cluster, and those more experienced teachers around you as well. I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into what it's like to be a Harris teacher. I know Sam will touch on that a bit more alongside what it's like to do the ECT framework. But if you do have any questions or you'd like to come and see Shortlands, please do come and see us. We're always welcome to visitors. And if you were keen to be an ECT at Shortlands, we're always looking for new members of staff as well. So it's been a pleasure to be able to talk this evening. And like I said, at the end, if there's any questions, please do ask.
Thanks, Jordan. We're going to move now to Gavin, who's going to talk a little bit more about the Harris Leadership College and the CPD available.
Thank you, Erica. If you could actually just flick on, and I'll go straight to the next slide, actually, if you don't mind. Sorry, the next one after that. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all here. And I'm just going to give you a flavour of what the Harris Leadership College, or Harris Institute for Teaching and Leadership, is, what it's made up of, and what the main qualifications or professional development you would have access to if you join the federation. So the Harris Institute for Teaching and Leadership is made up of 3 aspects. We've got 2 teaching school hubs at the moment, and which is Trafford 100, Crystal Palace, and we're also taking on one in North London, which we've just been successful for bidding for. So we're actually 3 teaching school hubs as of September, plus Harris Leadership College. Now we're in the process of transitioning all that to under one banner of being Harris Institute for Teaching. This is based in Beckenham near Harris Academy, Bromley. It's a purpose-built. Sorry, it's a building which is dedicated just for professional development. So all of our professional development activities that we run for all of our academies, plus people outside of our academy, take place within that building. So our emphasis is providing that high quality leadership training to all of our schools, all of our academies, but also we are outward facing as well. And the one graphic that's missing off of this is the National Institute for Teaching, because we are one of the founding MATs for the National Institute for Teaching, which was only 18 months old, only one of 4 founding MATs, and Sudan is actually the chair of the National Institute for Teaching. And basically, the National Institute for Teaching is an organisation, again, which runs the golden thread from ITE onto ECT, onto the early careers framework through to MPQs and beyond, and hopefully we'll have degree awarding powers in the future as well. And it's the government's preferred I suppose organisation for development, and also it has its own research arm. So what we would like to do is, or what I'd like to do today, is just go through the types of things that are available and what that looks like, because as you come through your ECT years, these will be available probably in the second year more than likely, but as you go through and past your ECT years, they'll definitely be available for you. And and lots and lots of Harris academies send lots and lots of people on these. So if you chuck on to the next one for us, Erica, thank you. So there are 2 aspects to this. We have specialist programs, we have leadership programs. So the leadership program, something to maybe keep an eye on, maybe look for in the future. Those are in early years leadership, which might be relevant to some people on the call. There's the Senko MPQ, which is new from September, which is if you are starting in a position working as a Senko, you will have to have this MPQ within the first about the time that you'll be in post, but it's new from September, so it's very exciting. And then you have MPQ into senior leadership, headship, executive leadership, and we have a CEO program. The specialist MPQs are more relevant for people in the early parts of their career. In terms of leading teaching, it is about how you would lead across a department, how you could lead across a phase, how you'd lead across a year group, how you would then improve teaching across those areas, maybe even be across the whole school. Leading teacher development is how you lead CPD or professional development across, again, a year group, a phase, or across the school. Likewise, behaviour culture, how you would do that within your context of year group, phase, or across the whole school. Then we have two relatively specific ones: leading literacy. Lots of posts in schools now where someone has that role of in charge of literacy, and again, it's about how that information gets disseminated across the whole school. And the leading primary maths, and again, it's very math specific, but the emphasis is on the leading aspect because it is a leadership qualification. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick oversight of what this would look like. So Erica, if you could just flick on to the next one for us. So this is what a model program would look like, and this is a specialist model. So you would have in the purple there are your face-to-face sessions. So across the year, where this program is a year long, you would have 3 face-to-face days once a term. Aside from that, you'll be completing your online study in the lead up to these local seminars, kind of like a flip learning approach where you do your bits beforehand and then your local seminars after that. Then you have your masterclasses, which are delivered by experts across the country, and these are national ones. You have your subject masterclasses, which are again a bit more individual for each program, and then you have online visits where you'll get the opportunity to watch a live tour of a school through actually what's going on. So it might be dipping into lessons, it might be dipping into meetings, and you'll hear a school leader narrate that. And then you have your practice clinics where you get the opportunity in small groups to talk and discuss with an expert leader about the issues that you may have, or something you want to change in your practice, or something to do with the program that you'd like to take forward. Next one, please, Erica. So as you can see there, it's just what I've gone through very quickly. The face-to-face seminars are really, really important. The online self-study is really, really important. But what they try and do with the NIOT MPQs is that we're trying to emphasise that the day sessions are for really contextualising the theory. The theory stuff is done beforehand within your self-studies, but come to those sessions really wanting to put it into your own context and get exemplification from expert school leaders. And the next slide just shows you what a leadership program would look like. So it's 18 months, so it's slightly longer. You get an extra face-to-face day, and there's an extra school visit, plus the online studies obviously go alongside that slightly more. The only change for this one is that you get 1 to 3 coaching for a 90-minute session instead of the subject masterclasses, the local masterclasses. And if you flick it again for us, Erica, thank you. And again, just to highlight that, the online group coaching is the only difference between the leadership and the specialist with regards to the different types of activities that you'll do. Aside from that, there are lots more opportunities that you'll get from the Federation. Individual academies, have their own programs. We have, as has already been said today, the October conference as well. And obviously there are lots more other things that are going on, such as Maths Hubs, such as SEN activities that we do. So we have lots of stuff going on. Today's just a quick flavour of the main types of programs that we run through the Harris Leadership College or Harris Institute in conjunction with the National Institute for Teaching. So that's it for my bit. Thank you for listening. And if you do have any questions, I've got to drop off the call, but if you do have any questions, then please feel free to send them through to Erica, and I'll obviously answer them and they'll come back to you. So thanks, Erica.
Thanks, Gavin. We're going to move on now to Samuel, who's going to speak a little bit more in detail about his experience as an ECT and what your ECT years can provide you if you join Harris.
Hi, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about what it's like to be an ECT at Harris. I am a first-year ECT at Harris Primary Academy Shortlands. I've been at the Federation for 4 years. I've worked in a number of different roles. I started off as a teaching assistant, then became a higher level teaching assistant, and then moved on to doing my teacher training with Harris last year. I think the first thing I kind of want to say about what it's like to be an ECT at Harris is, I think when you hear about being an ECT and what it's like at other schools, it sounds like it's really overwhelming. There's lots of extra work to do. What Harris do really, really well is make sure you don't feel overwhelmed. Everything aids your learning as an ECT. You're not doing things you might, not pointless, but things that you might think aren't actually benefiting you. Everything you're doing is actionable and you can implement easily. I think my favorite part of being an ECT here is being around all the expert teachers. I could always go and ask to observe another teacher. I can ask for advice, whether that's with planning or whether that's with marking, giving next steps. Being able to look at different teachers teaching in different year groups has really helped me improve as a teacher. I've been able to look at different strategies, whether that was for behaviour management, whether for formative assessment or anything like that. Each week, as an ECT at Harris, you observe for just 15 minutes by your mentor, and then you have an hour feedback session with your mentor who will talk through your lesson, give you praise, what you've done well, and then always gives you like a smart, actionable target which you could implement as quickly as possible. This is really helpful because it allows you to make a quick and easy fix to your teaching, which you can implement straight away, and then it can really help enhance your web as a teacher, whether that be through your questioning techniques, how you model, and other elements like that. You also, as an ECT at Harris, have self-studies through the GTT, which is the Great Teaching Toolkit. Each of these self-studies focuses on a different element of your teaching practice, whether this would be behaviour, formative assessment, or strategies for modelling. These are really useful because as you read through them, you can think about how you're implementing them into your own classroom. As Jordan already touched on, what is really helpful by the Federation is that lots of the slides for your foundation subjects are already there, such as history, geography, RE, and each of those has a unit overview with them, which addresses the key vocabulary that you will need to teach for that lesson, and also potential misconceptions. I think thinking of misconceptions can be quite overwhelming as an ECT, as this is your first real year of teaching, and it can be difficult to necessarily know what the misconception might be, but having those there allows you to address it in the lesson so that you can address those misconceptions before they come up. You also provided with the slides, so you're just focusing on making the task and differentiating them to your class. With regards to differentiation, what I find really helpful with that and being at Harris is that because all the different federations within specifically your cluster are teaching from the same content, if you are really struggling to think of, how might I differentiate that, you can talk to other schools within your cluster about how they have adapted this same lesson. Last year I trained with Harris, and that's meant I have a good support network with other ECT ones, but we also have clusters, and within these clusters there are other ECT ones at Harris, and often in the same year group as you, and you can talk about strategies that you have implemented into your teaching that has helped you and benefited you. And it's a really nice way of talking to other teachers who are going through the same things as you, and I think it really helps you grow as a teacher. And that's all I have at the moment, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions anyone might have. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. We're just still waiting for Hannah to join us. I think she'll be joining us in the next few minutes. So just in the interim, does anyone have any questions that they have for me or any of the speakers? Just while we wait for Hannah, she should be joining soon. Oh, hi, Hannah. You're just in time.
Oh, wonderful. Can you hear me okay?
Pardon?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We can.
Perfect. Just in time then.
Great. So yeah, we're going to hear from Hannah now, and she's going to speak more about the early career framework and the programme and how you can expect the theory to be implemented with the day-to-day of being an ECT.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Erica. So yes, my name is Hannah Trill. I'm the ECF Regional Manager for primary schools, so have the responsibility for the delivery of the programme to all the partnering ECTs. And we, as you've probably been told already, we use the National Institute of Teaching ECF programme. And before I go into what that looks like in terms of the day-to-day, there are some key elements of the programme that I want to highlight to you that I feel are real strengths and is the reason we have chosen to use this particular ECF programme. So first of all, it's really centred on the mentor and ECT relationship, because we feel that the people, the experts that are in your school are the people that can help you most. And so you will have dedicated time each week to meet with your mentor, reflect on practice and theory, and see how you can improve your day-to-day teaching. The programme's deeply applicable to your context. We train our facilitators, we train our mentors in how they can contextualise the theory that you're presented with to make sure that you feel that it's relevant for you. And finally, we really try and ensure that the programme is respectful of time. We know how busy we are as teachers, and we know how busy new teachers are in particular. So we want you to feel that you can participate in these training activities in a meaningful and productive way, and that you have time to do so. And we're constantly improving and evolving the programme in response to feedback from ECTs, particularly with regards to workload. Thanks, Erica. Next slide. So before I go into what the actual programme looks like, I just want to place it in the bigger context of professional development. So you will have just finished or will be completing your ITT year, where you will have built really strong foundations of knowledge about what great teaching looks like using the core content framework. And the early career framework allows you to continue to develop your knowledge and understanding of those foundations, such that you are then ready to pursue other qualifications beyond the ECF. And here at the Teaching School Hubs with Harris, we do offer a whole suite of professional qualifications that will allow you to specialise your knowledge and also prepare you for leadership roles. But back to the ECF first. Thank you, Erica. Next slide. We'll just talk about what the programme looks like in terms of year 1 and year 2. So it's broken down into 12 modules, and each module will last a half term, and each module will cover an area of the ECF, so the early career framework with the different strands. Thank you. In year 2, you revisit the same strands from the early career framework, but you do so with greater depth. You have the opportunity to engage with educational literature and see what it's like to become a research and evidence-informed practitioner. You'll be encouraged to identify your own areas for development as a teacher, and also then be asked to find possible solutions for those areas for development, again making sure that those solutions are evidence-informed. There's also a greater focus in the second year on not just generic pedagogy for primary, but also be more phase specific, because actually the pedagogy in EYFS will look very different to Key Stage 2, for example. Thanks, Erica. Next slide. And so this graphic looks at what your programme will look like in the different activities and how they interlink. So first and foremost, you will see that mentoring is at the top, and that's because we believe it's the most important part of the programme. So you will meet with your mentor each week, and what that looks like we'll talk about a little bit later. You will have a self-directed study to complete each half term, and these consist of 6 readings. That's not just theory and evidence, it's also exemplification of that. So we offer videos to show what you've just been reading about, and those videos will exemplify it in different contexts as well. So there'll be an EYFS example, Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, so you select the one that's most relevant to you. And then the idea is that you will discuss with your mentor what it is that you have read, and you can think about that theory to practice gap and how you can go from reading something to making sure you're embedding that in your day-to-day teaching. You will attend a local network seminar each half term. This is where you get the opportunity to travel to a different context, unless your school is the whole school, and you will meet with other ECTs that are in local neighbouring schools, and you will have training that's linked to the overall theme of the module. We try and ensure that the distance that you have to travel as an ECT to a venue is no more than 30 minutes from your starting point. So much so that over the last week, I have literally put every single school and the venues for next year, the proposed venues, gone onto Google Maps and see how long it would take people to get there by car, how long it would take them to get there by public transport, at the time that you'd be leaving, to make sure that we can put you in the correct cluster groups for that. And those sessions are facilitated by real experts there, middle leaders or senior leaders that have real authority in professional development and what they're talking about. And we have really fantastic feedback from those facilitated sessions, and find that our ECTs form great relationships with the facilitators as well. And then finally, each term, you are given the opportunity to attend a national webinar, which is delivered by nationally recognised experts. So in autumn, they heard from Tom Bennett on behaviour, spring from Kate Jones on assessment, and in the summer term, we are eagerly awaiting Alex Quigley, who is going to be delivering on literacy. Thanks, Erica. And then into year 2. So in year 2, you will receive a 5% reduction in your timetable as opposed to 10%. And as a result, your training commitments reduce. So you will still be meeting your mentor, but that will happen every other week instead. But what we hope by this point is that your relationship with your mentor has really evolved into more of a coaching relationship, where they are prompting you to think and reflect to find your own solutions to things that might be happening. And actually that there's a bit of a reciprocal learning that they are learning through working with you. The self-directed studies are each half term still, but they're much shorter to reflect the fact that you have more teaching in your timetable. You will attend training each half term, but they alternate. Each term you will meet with the local cluster that you met with in year 1, and that'll be more generic pedagogy. And then every alternate half term, you will then meet in a different group, which is phase or subject specific. And you will still also have the opportunity to go onto your national webinars as well, and have specialist partners and experts delivering content to you. Thank you, Erica. So just to give you a little flavour of the self-study materials, here are some examples. So they're taken from Module 1 and they're sequenced to help you as an ECT to create a really purposeful and meaningful learning environment as you start out the new year. And as I said, it isn't just reading, there are practical exemplifications of the strategies that have been discussed and written about. And so you will see videos relevant to different phases that you can select which one's relevant to you. You will also see that there are prompts for thinking and reflection and questions to allow you to consider, well, where am I at now with regards to what I've read? Is there anything I can be doing more of? Is there something interesting that I've read that perhaps isn't where my practice is right now? Can I discuss that with my mentor? And again, it's all about making sure that this isn't just theory written on a page. It's something that you can take away, and we're bridging that theory practice gap. Thanks, Erica. And as I said, I'd come to mentor meetings and how important they are, and that relationship that you have with your mentor. So one of the great things about this programme is that it allows you as an ECT to get regular and specific feedback on your practice in a way that is actually achievable. So the way the mentors interact with you is that each week, if I can have the infographic that comes up, Erica. Thank you. Your mentor will do a 15-minute drop-in to one of your lessons, and you will pre-agree what lesson it's going to be. It's not going to be a surprise. And from having dropped into your lesson, they should come away with a single precise action step that you can then implement. They will discuss that with you in your mentor meeting. And in that mentor meeting, they won't just say, you need to do this. They will also ideally model it for you and then give you the actual opportunity to practice it there and then. So that might be planning part of a lesson together, or scripting and rehearsing with one another, so that you can practice it and rehearse it within a low stakes environment before then implementing it in your practice going forward. But the real key point there is it's just one thing, that it's something that can be achieved within a week. So it's a tiny, minute stepping stone of practice that allows you to feel that you're improving over time. It doesn't feel overwhelming. Sometimes longer lesson observations where there are 3 points of feedback that are much bigger, it's harder to show that you're meeting that over time, as opposed to just these small little action steps. And the way that that's shown in, or the way that that's managed in your mentor meetings, is through the use of the 5 Ps, which are mentors will praise your strengths first, but then probe the areas for development, set those precise actions, allow you to plan that, and then practice before following up in the next mentor meeting. Thank you, Erica. So that just summarises the 5 Ps for you there. And finally, just put a section on ECT wellbeing, because as we know, teaching is a really demanding career. It offers loads of opportunities and joy, but also lots of challenges as well, and lots of work. And so we want this NRIT ECF programme to be responsive to the needs of the ECTs, and in particular the calendar year, because we appreciate there are particular pinch points as well where perhaps we shouldn't be actually scheduling training, or actually the length of our self-studies should be shorter, etc. So the NRT are really proud that they have a dedicated research team who try and gather information from the ECTs in the schools they work with to help us evaluate the programme. And one thing that they've designed is a digital tool to monitor and respond to teacher workload and wellbeing. So ECTs and mentors are encouraged on a bi-weekly basis to take this form, a really short survey, which will really easily accessed as well. The results are completely anonymous. They won't be shared with your school, but it allows us at a national level to understand what's happening in schools and pick up key themes that will then help us to improve and enhance the programme going forward, keeping ECT wellbeing at the forefront. Thank you, Erica. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the ECF programme, and I'm just going to leave this up for a moment. These are some ECT testimonials of things that they've enjoyed about our ECF programme.
Thanks, Hannah, and thanks to all our speakers here today. That concludes the end of the presentations. So just going to open the floor to questions now. I know we've had one in the chat from Sarah. Does the Federation hire teachers in July/August after QTS is awarded for PGCE? Yes, we're hiring for ECTs now, or for a September start. So yeah, get your applications in if there's any that look of interest to you. Are there any other questions? Please do feel free to say them now. Okay, well, if you do think of any questions, you have my email address, so please do feel free to email them to me, and either I'll answer them or I'll pass them on to the right person who'll be able to answer them for you. So just the last bit now, we're just going to talk about the next steps and how you can make an application for a role here at Harris. All of our current teaching roles are available on the Harris Career site, which is at www.harriscareers.org.uk. On that website, you can filter out, so you can filter out to the primary roles and any academies that you're most interested in, or the academies that are near to you. If there are some suitable vacancies, please do feel free to make your application. It's a very simple application process. You just need to submit your basic details, your education history, your CV and cover letter, and that will get sent straight to the hiring team. What also is good about our application service is if you see multiple roles that you want to apply for, you can apply for one, and then the system will remember your application details. Then allows you to make multiple applications without having to do the whole journey again multiple times. If there are no suitable vacancies, you can either set up an email alert via our career site, and you can also sign up. We've got an ECT primary role you can sign up to, which will add you into a talent pool that us as the talent team are notified by, and then we can reach out to you with suitable roles. What you can also do is you can email me. So I put my email here with your location and the academy that you're most interested in. And if you send me a copy of your CV, what I can do is I can notify that head teacher that you're interested in their academy. And you never know, there might be some capacity for a teacher there that isn't currently advertised. And we can also look into arranging visits if there's an academy you're particularly interested in, and also conversations with the hiring teams and the head teachers at that academy. So that concludes the end of our ECT primary event. Thank you very much for being here with us today. We hope you've enjoyed it and learnt a lot, and hopefully that's sort of spurred you on into joining us. We really like having ECTs at our academies. So yeah, if you've got any questions as mentioned, please do get in touch. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.